Hey, what's up out there, everybody? My name is Gary. Just wanted to bring you a video here on the process that we used here in the new shop. If you watch some of the other videos where we're in the process of building out the new shop. This video is about the floor coating in the shop area. The floor coating in the living area we've already done, and we used a company called Direct Colors, directcolors.com. They specialize in industrial and commercial coatings for concrete, as well as for countertops, and any kind of concrete work that's more of the top coating and overlays and those kind of things. That's what they specialize in. So I've used some other concrete coating products before from Lowe's, Home Depot, Sherwin-Williams, those kind of things, but I chose to go this route just because I feel like some of those products may not be as durable for the long run. And so there's always this debate about epoxy versus urethane, and the way I understand it is, if you want a thick film build and you're looking to do the swirls and the decorative stuff in different colors, and you want a lot of choices in the colors, you want to do the speckle flake over the light gray, which is kind of a standard setup, that epoxy is a good way to go. If you just want to seal your concrete and give yourself the best chance to have the most durability, the less showing of scratches and wear over time, then a urethane sealer in a really thin coat is the best way to go. And the epoxy, and for what I'm seeing, is the lighter colors are really start to show the wear really quickly, because you get micro scratches in the epoxy, and you get dirt and grime ground into those micro scratches, and then they show up as black, dirty, scuff scratches that you can't get out. If you have a darker floor, obviously you're still going to get those scratches in them, but you're not going to have it stand out against the light background. So anyway, we just did a bare concrete clear satin finish over the top of that, and we did our shop logo in there as well. So this video is going to be just taking you through the basic steps involved. It's not exactly a how-to video. I'm not a concrete coatings expert. There are some guys on YouTube, if you do some searches, some really good experts out there that do this for a living, that you may want to look into as well. This is just one example of that you could use. So the two different ways that you can prep the concrete are you could use muriatic acid or other acids to etch the concrete, which kind of removes that hard trowel slick finish, exposes the pores and the tops of the aggregate of the concrete, and that's what allows the adhesion to occur. Or you can do what I did, which is rent a machine and a large disc called a diamond brush, as you're seeing here. This disc has a 25 grit diamond coated pads on it, and what this does is put scratches in the floor, all throughout the floor, and that's what your concrete or your sealer will bond to. So we rented that. The buffer itself was like $40 for the day, and then the pad was more expensive, like $70. So you're looking at $110 for 24 hours, which is more than enough time to do the floor. Just want to go slow. Don't get in a hurry with it. Nothing too terribly difficult there. So once we got all that done, we swept up the dust and debris, and then we did a degreaser over it and cleaned it very well. Now, when I did the shop floor or the living area floor, I did do the other route. I did the chemical, the acid etching, and it's just more days to do that, and because you've got to apply the etching, you got to come back the next day, and if it didn't etch it properly in some areas, you got to go back and do it again. And then once it has done it, you've got to go through and neutralize the acid with either a mix of baking soda water or ammonia and water. So that just adds more and more days that you got to have the floor wet. Also, the other thing too is I saturated the floor, used a squeegee to push it all out, and this time I kept the water contained in really small areas, used a shop vac to pull in the water from the degreaser, and then put some fresh water on the floor, rinsed it, and then kept rinsing a couple of times until, as you're seeing here in the overlay video, until we got a good, clean outcome there. Good, got it rinsed good. So the prep and the cleaning is really the laborious, the most labor-intensive part of the project. After we did that, I went ahead and prepared to put the shop logo down, and I used epoxy primer, automotive epoxy primer, as you see being mixed up there, and got that sprayed down. And before we did that, we masked everything off in the pattern that we want, and and so forth, and then sprayed down the epoxy, and then laid down the stencil on top of that, and then painted the red lettering and so forth through the stencil. So as you can see, it came out pretty good. And then we allowed that to cure for 24 hours, and then went back and scuffed the urethane red paint, which is single stage urethane. And the nice thing about that is it's catalyzed, so you don't really have to worry about this you don't have to worry about your sealer causing a reaction with the paint, and because it's hardened, and this is a hardened 2K catalyzed product as well. You got a gallon of it. It mixes 3 to 1. It's a gallon of, I'm sorry, 0.75 of a gallon is what's in here, not actually a gallon, to 1 quart of the hardener. So these two together gives you a gallon of sprayable or applicable material. And we ended up using a applicator to brush this on instead of trying to spray it. I don't have my big air compressor here yet. And the small air compressor was good enough to spray the logo, but it would have taken forever to spray all this. Plus, I just didn't want to fog up the whole room with overspray, not really looking to get overspray on everything in here. So anyway, once we got the logo applied, I went around with a small brush, as you can see here, and got in the corrugated panels on the walls where they left an uneven finish, uneven wall surface area where it mates up to the floor. The roller couldn't get in there, and so I used a brush just to go trim out that detail area, and then came back with the roller, and the roller worked pretty good. It's a really heavy weighted steel bar with a applicator on top of it. You basically just drag that, and as you can see me, applying the coating here. And what that's supposed to do, the weighted bar is supposed to give you the perfect mill thickness for what they want down. And they really want you to have as thin a coat as possible. You can come back and apply a second coat, but if you do that, you should do it within 24 hours. If you do it within 24 hours, that's your recoat window for this. You can do it without any scuffing, just come right back with another coat. If you do it outside that, you can scuff with 120 grit sandpaper and do that. So I'm showing the border of, we're doing half at a time and moving the equipment, shifting it back and forth. You can see the difference. It darkened up the concrete, but still, clear finish. Left, you can see all the scratch marks in it from before, from the process that we used to prep it. You can see all the imperfections and the swirls and the variations in the concrete surface, just how it was done. But the scratches are pretty deep. Those show up pretty noticeably. I'm not worried about that. In fact, I'd rather have deep scratches and know that you got good adhesion than have something that you worry about the thing delaminating. And plus, if this is outside, the sun would close up the scratch, but obviously be inside it's not going to close up the scratch on us there, and so we'll just have to live with that. But anyway, so I'll just close it out here with some final shots of the concrete after the sealer. Hope this was helpful. Any questions, let me know. I'll put a link to this company. They're in Oklahoma. The shipping was close. I could get the product in one day. They always ship the same day. So if I missed something or needed a little extra or whatever, that's one of the reasons I went with them. By no means did I get sponsored by them. I'm not representing their product, just that they are good people and good to work with. A guy there named Justin very, very knowledgeable, very helpful. Recommend reaching out to him if you have any concrete projects, countertops, which we will be doing countertops as well pretty soon here. All right, so that's it. We'll wrap it up now. Thanks, everybody.